Ab ki baar 400 Paar. The Prime Minister has set a target of 370 seats for the BJP and 400 plus for the NDA. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo story. In a moment from now, we'll be speaking to leading psephologist Yashwant Deshmukh to talk about whether the BJP and the NDA can meet the target set for them by the Prime Minister for 2024. The Prime Minister has just addressed the Parliament, bidding farewell to the Lok Sabha in the run-up to 2024. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur was seen today wearing a t-shirt saying Modi hat-trick, while Narendra Modi seems to be cruising towards a victory in the third term, going by all polls and, well, actually one's own political instinct. The debate now is around number and margin of victory. To talk about what the latest India Today-CVoter Mood of the Nation survey says, and also Mr. Deshmukh's own political assessment, let's introduce our newsmaker on the program today, Yashwant. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And since we have limited time with you, let's get straight into it. The Prime Minister has set a target. And I want to pick up the four regions that you've looked at, north, south, east, west, and what your findings actually show is that the BJP and the NDA are in dominant position when it comes to the north, the south, I beg your pardon, the north, the east, and the west, but not the south. Take us through the regions.
Absolutely, Barkha. And the North India, you have seen that the way it is like India Today-CVoter MOTN is showing about 154 for the NDA at this point of time, 25 for India Alliance, and 1 for the others. That is almost at par with what they were getting last time. However, two things which we have to keep in mind. Number one, this poll did take into account via snap poll the recent development of Bihar, but the full impact of that still has to be seen over the coming weeks, number one. Number two, the R&D thing that has happened yesterday, that has to play out. Even though our poll is finding that the NDA is in a pole position with 72 seats in Uttar Pradesh, but Barkha, all the you and everybody else knows me that as far as seat share is concerned, I am a very, very conservative pollster. So when I say 72 for the NDA and BJP in Uttar Pradesh out of 80, I am actually being conservative. Because when you have a UP-like state where you have a party going beyond 50% of vote bank and other party hardly touching around 35%, the gap in that kind of a triangular contest, and keeping in mind that Mayawati is going to contest all alone on her own, and she is dragging in about 8% votes with her. So that kind of a thing usually ends up in a one-way sweep. I have only taken in the 5 family bastions of Samajwadi Party family seats, number one. Number two, I have taken in Rai Bareli, but that too keeping in mind, thinking and with the condition that Mrs. Sonia Gandhi contests that seat. If she doesn't contest that seat, then even Rai Bareli has a question mark to it.
So, lot to ask you. First, I want to clarify about Bihar. Can we just hold the Bihar slide for a moment? You did a snap poll once Nitish went back to the NDA, but these numbers, if I'm not wrong, are when Nitish was still in the India bloc. Is that correct?
That's exactly the point. And once you look into the SWIP after this thing, it's just the opposite. It becomes 32 seats for the NDA bloc and 8 seats for the India bloc. That 8 seat also 7 to the RJD and 1 to the Congress over there, which they won last time. So what is happening over here, Barkha, is that we don't know how many seats actually JDU is gonna be contesting on, because everybody has been, the sources are telling that BJP is not very keen to give 17 seats again to the JDU. And also the fact remains that the winnability of the strike rate on a BJP ticket will be going to be much more than the strike rate on the JDU or any other alliance partner ticket. So that is one thing which we need to keep in mind, that eventually it will have an impact of how many seats that BJP is contesting and how many seats others are contesting.
Okay, let's quickly run through the states in the north. So to go back to Uttar Pradesh for a moment, what you're looking at, as you mentioned, is an absolute domination of the BJP. And as you said, this was again prior to the RLD joining the NDA. So we can expect these numbers to be even more handsome for the BJP. Is that correct? And also, we don't know which way Mayawati
That
is
is
going to
true.
be.
That is true because RLT vote share, even by the most conservative estimate, is somewhere between 2 to 3%, and particularly the Jat voters. So what you are looking at those numbers going beyond 50% and 3%, 2-3% coming down on the India Alliance card. It's not about that it is going to impact a big number of seats as such because West, but it will be also about the concentration of the Jat votes and the Jat sentiment, not just in UP, but even in the cross-border states of Haryana, even in the Delhi adjoining seats where Jat votes are important. So that is a Jat politics indicator, which way it is going. Uh, Ideally speaking, when you see this kind of thing, don't be surprised, Barkha, if the numbers that are given on the probability factor by our team on the seat share don't really hold, because this is the kind of a recipe which usually ideally should result in a 80-0 kind of a streak.
So you're saying that your projections are conservative. They're likely to be better for the BJP in North India, not Punjab. Punjab is a different case, so we'll come to that. Delhi, a clean sweep projected for the BJP NDA. UP, complete domination. Haryana, the NDA doing handsomely. We've already looked at Bihar, which you've said would be much better, given that this was before Nitish Kumar changed sides. Uttarakhand, where a contentious uniform civil code legislation has just been passed, complete domination projected for the NDA. Himachal, this is interesting because the Congress just took the seat in the assemblies, but you're projecting a Lok Sabha sweep for the NDA.
Look at
If
the
we look at
vote share. Barkha,
yeah,
look at the vote share in Himachal. And do you
yeah,
remember when we were discussing the Himachal Pradesh results and our exit polls, where we said that, okay, Congress is making a quite handsome gains in the assembly elections. But
yeah.
in the same exit poll, in the same sample, when we asked whom are you going to vote for the Lok Sabha election, the gap was more than 20% at that point of time in favor of the BJP. And right now it is 30%, literally about 30% gap. So that is the kind of a saturation. Modi dividend is almost like somewhere between 10% to 25% in different states. You can easily see that happening.
Fascinating. The Modi dividend being 10%, especially when it comes to Lok Sabha elections, it might play out differently from state to state in the assemblies. Now, Punjab, to talk about Punjab very briefly before we look at another region of the country, this is interesting because here the BJP is not fully in play, though the BJP and the Akalis are likely to join hands by the time the Lok Sabha happens. The Congress and the AAP neck and neck, and it suits both of them to remain separate and not sort of fight jointly, even though they did in the Chandigarh mayor elections. Probably the only state where the Aam Aadmi Party is still in play in the Lok Sabha elections.
They are pretty much in play in the Lok Sabha election, that is right. And there are regional variations because
Only in Punjab. The AAP is only in play because in Delhi it's a
only in
complete
Punjab,
whitewash.
not even in Delhi. By the way, in calculation,
Yeah,
you might have noticed in Delhi, I have taken Aam Aadmi Party and Congress vote share together in Delhi. Even after that, BJP is sweeping 7-0. But in case of
yeah.
Punjab, because they have very clearly said they are going to contest separately, I have kept them and calculated them separately. And that makes sense, Barkha, because if they will go together, that will probably induce a probability of Akali Dal getting advantage of that. So actually, it makes sense for them to contest separately. However, in Punjab vote share, what I am finding very, very interesting now, that
Mm.
when the four cornered contest, each party is contesting on their own at this point of time. Call it demography of Punjab, of Hindu votes polarization, call it Modi's, whatever it is. Even though BJP is a non-player in Punjab, at this point of time, BJP's vote share is more than Akali Dal's projected vote share, which tells me another indication. If at all there would be a realignation of Akali Dal and BJP ties in Punjab, it will be no more the same old equation of Akali Dal playing the big brother and having a lion's share of the seat. It is going to
Yeah.
be on the equal footing.
Very interesting, but I'm going to move now to another part of the country, which is the East, right? And so let's look at the overall pictures first of the East. As the India Today CVoter Mood of the Nation survey projects, the BJP is in pole position in the North, East, and even in the West. 103 for the NDA, 38 for India, 12 for others. Now, talk a little bit about the East, because I'm going to look at Assam and Bengal individually, but just give us a sense of the East and what you're picking up here.
You see, the India alliance in the East is only and only limited to Mamata Banerjee largely. That's what it is like, and the others also include the seats which are coming from the BJD account. Odd thing and funny thing is that whatever the others are looking at, they are actually a non-BJP and non-Congress seats as well. Largely speaking, those parties, smaller parties, are anti-Congress inherently. Their politics has been anti-Congress. So even though those scorecards are appearing in others, we have seen the last 10 years, these parties, for all practical matters in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, they have played the BJP line of politics, be it BJD, be it BRS, be it Jagan Mohan Reddy, be it TDP. All these people have played the BJP politics. So that's an interesting, because I'm saying this upfront because many a times people do calculate, okay, how about we add up India Alliance and add up the others. I'm sorry, but that doesn't add up because that others is certainly not part of the Congress coalition.
Now, looking at sort of seats, that slide is the big one, Bengal. This is very, very interesting because it basically shows the BJP snapping at the heels of the Trinamool Congress. Now, remember, this is a state where the India Alliance doesn't exist at the level of the state. Mamata Banerjee has said she wants to go it alone. Probably a smart move, because if there's any anti-Mamata sentiment, let there be other options other than the BJP. But despite that, the BJP is projected to be one up from its 18 last time, and the Trinamool falls down slightly. This is a neck-and-neck battle. Talk about Bengal.
Barkha, Bengal is mother of all elections in this Lok Sabha. When I say I know, with last time when we were speaking of the MOTN, I used a red flag 4 states for the NDA. One was Karnataka, one was Bihar, one was Maharashtra, and last one was West Bengal. Look at the way they have operated after that poll came out. For them, the lowest hanging fruit was JDN in Karnataka. They pulled it out and it's in their favor. They have worked in their own operation in Bihar. We are looking at that impact. Maharashtra is problematic because of way too many things, way too many factors at play. I know many people are saying Maharashtra is mother of the election. No, I don't think that is because
we'll come to Maharashtra
talk about it. Yeah. But why I call West Bengal as mother of all election? Because here we are looking at a continuation of a fight without any confusion whatsoever. Because Mamata Banerjee has played smart. She is a very sharp politician. She understands what exactly is remaining with Congress and left front in West Bengal. That is approximately 10% votes, Barkha. And that 10% vote is actually not anti-BJP. That 10% vote which is now remaining with Congress and left is anti-Mamata. She knows very well the moment I take Congress or left inside the alliance, that 10% is unlikely to switch over to Mamata Banerjee. It is more likely to switch over to the BJP. That is why she is adamant that she is going to contest all alone. There is a reason to that. People might feel that that's madness. No, but there is a method to that madness. There is a reason to that kind of decision. It's not madness. It is a pretty smart, practical move. However, this is going to be a mother of all election for a simple reason, Barkha, that Mamata Banerjee, for all practical purposes, is the one politician who has taken the BJP juggernaut handled it very well. However, she has a clear and present danger looming over her for one simple reason. By virtue of winning and sweeping all elections in Bengal, she has a unique problem of being at power at Panchayat and municipal election, be at power at the center, assembly election with 200 more, and being at power at the majority of the MPs belong to her party. So there is a triple level of anti-incumbency which is now building up, and that is going to create a huge headache for her. No doubt about that. So it remains to be seen how she counters that one, how she manages to remain as number one, in that state. By the way, in the chief minister's ranking of all over India, she also manages to be in the top five. So that is something that people across India also acknowledge her. Apart from Kejriwal as the chief minister to look out for from the opposition camps. But make no mistake, Bakha, I'm telling you, if at all, suppose tomorrow the election commission says that Lok Sabha elections are going to happen in 7 phases, my understanding is West Bengal will be going in 7 phases all along, because it will be like so much staggered due to the political fear of political violence. The security forces are gonna move from 5-6 Lok Sabha seats to 5-6 Lok Sabha seats in the next round. I would be very surprised if the election commission says let's put 42 seats of West Bengal in 1 or 2 phases. I will be very surprised. As per my understanding, it will be as spread out as possible, and it is gonna be hell of an intense battle for each and every seat.
Okay, I'm moving this along just quickly in the interest of time, but a lot of the individual state slides are on our screen, and we'll have them on our platform later. For I know political geeks will be interested in going back and looking at these numbers of India Today-CVoter Mood of the Nation poll. But let's switch our attention to the West, because you said there's a clear or a close contest between which is the mother of all elections, Maharashtra and Bengal. Now, for a psephologist, Maharashtra, Yashwant, is of course much more complicated. You have a split Shiv Sena, you have a
Yeah.
split NCP. You have Sharad Pawar losing his signal. I'm just waiting for that Maharashtra slide. What's okay? It's coming up in a second. Just take us through overall
When they are
Maharashtra.
coming up, Bhargav, till that point of time, I can tell you a couple of the things. Emotionally, the trend that what we are picking up, the emotion or the sentiment on the ground, no matter how smartly that BJP has played out by splitting and taking, election commission symbol allocation to the factions which are the BJP right now, somehow the cadre emotions are not really with the people who have split and taken away the symbol. So Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar, the cadre still is emotionally attached with Sharad Pawar. Between Shinde and Thackeray, the cadre, particularly in the Mumbai region, is still emotionally attached with the Thackeray group. Having said that, that emotion takes a altogether different turn when you talk about the Lok Sabha voting intention and assembly voting intention. So I will not be surprised that actually this could be a battle which could very well go in NDA's favor for the Lok Sabha election, as and when Prime Minister Narendra Modi puts his entire might and focus in Maharashtra and starts his political rallies across the state. And I am
Yeah.
sure that he's gonna do a lot of legwork in Maharashtra, a lot of legwork in West Bengal. These two states, I am absolutely dead sure he's gonna invest a lot of time over there. That will eventually yield much better fruits for the BJP. However, just like Bihar, Barka, just like Bihar, the maximum strike rate for the NDA is likely to come wherever the BJP ticket is there. The strike rate would be lower for Shinde, and the strike rate will even lower, might be lower for Ajit Pawar. He would know when exactly the ticket distribution takes place, who a contest against whom. This is the emotion on the ground at this point of time.
So I want to briefly turn my attention to Gujarat and Rajasthan, because those are simpler states to talk about, and then come back to Maharashtra. So can we switch the slides? In Rajasthan and Gujarat, there is a complete continuation, as it were, of what happens at the state level. There is no regional variation between the assembly and the national. Complete sweep in Prime Minister's home state, Amit Shah's home state, and the India, which is really Congress, at 35%, but unable to convert it into any seats. Rajasthan, if we can look at Rajasthan for just a moment, it's a pretty similar situation, and an inability to convert vote percentage into any seats. Now let's come back to Maharashtra. Now, when you say the emotional attachment is actually to the leaders who have lost their parties, Pawar and Uddhav, but the strike rate of BJP is going to be higher than the rebels, which are Shinde and Ajit Pawar. Now, what does that mean? What is the X factor in Maharashtra? Because Maharashtra seems the one state where the opposition is actually, in a position of relevance, apart from the South? Maharashtra seems the one state.
Maharashtra is absolutely one state where I feel still at this point of time, opposition's game plan is working better or is still ahead of the NDA simply because they have stuck together so far. So far, because I know we have seen how Bihar has played out. I mean, the way UP is being played out. It's like so far that we are not very sure what will happen in Maharashtra in the next 15 days or a month. Because, I mean, can we be sure that okay, Uddhav Thackeray and Narendra Modi won't talk to each other and might not reconcile on these things? No, because if Narendra Modi can take in Ajit Pawar and think about that, Uddhav Thackeray probably is a easier task for him for both these leaders to talk it down.
So you're saying Uddhav Thackeray could come back into the NDA fold and we should be watching that space?
Absolutely, it is a possibility. Who on earth will say it's not a possibility these days? Because I mean, apart from the politics, political movements and everything, let's always keep in mind, Barkha, that arithmetic and chemistry, that thing arithmetically is working in favor of the opposition right now. Chemistry is a huge issue. Which Shiv Sainik, the thorough blue-blood Shiv Sainik in Mumbai, would be thinking of supporting a Congress candidate against Narendra Modi's candidate? Similarly, which true blue BJP voter would think of supporting Ajit Pawar? They might take the bitter pill, thinking of that, okay, yaar, ye Modi ke liye de raha hai. Might take. But for Shiv Sainiks, there is no bitter pill. They will say, yaar, Uddhav Thackeray ki bezati hui, but we will take it out. The assembly elections are there. Right now, there is no point in voting for the Congress. So all these, because when we conducted the poll, Barkha, we asked about individual party preference and individual leadership preference. So, because there is no other way, I mean, nothing is clear so far. So we asked for all these 6 factions separately. And then we clubbed arithmetically to come to these things. What we do not know, which seat, which party is gonna contest and which kind of candidate is gonna be there. And at that point of time, all these contradictory vote banks, how they are going to swing in. And certainly there is a chemistry problem, as I just mentioned. I just cannot think inherently a Shiv Sainik voting for a Congress or inherently a BJP guy voting for Ajit Pawar. These are contradictions. So chemistry, chemical locha hai bahut bada usme. We don't know yet.
And anything can happen in the next few weeks in terms of Uddhav Thackeray's choices. Let's turn our attention to the South, where too, especially in Andhra Pradesh, there are now strong reports of Chandrababu coming back into the NDA fold. But first, let's take a look at the overall picture. Now, this is an area where certainly the opposition remains much more comfortable, which is why the Prime Minister has made Mission South clearly a big mission. But when we start breaking it into individual states, Yashwant, Karnataka is one place where the BJP remains dominant, pretty much like last time. So it's very interesting because Karnataka, the state government of the BJP was unpopular. The Congress wins handsomely, but is not able to carry forth that popularity into a national election. So I want to just talk about Karnataka and then we'll talk about the rest of the South because it's quite different.
You just look into the flexibility of the BJP. I mean, to think that they can take in the JDS, that 10% swinging factor along with them, all the Vocaligas vote coming along with them. Can you imagine if I was the Congress leader, Barkha, I mean, a leader means a strategist or anything. The day my government in Karnataka was sworn in, that same day I would have asked the JDS to join the government even though I have a majority. I would have given a ministry or two. I will ask Kumar Swamy to join in as a deputy chief minister because I don't want that 10% to go away to the BJP. So while Congress is unable to, because they cannot accommodate a Sachin Pilot or Jyotiraditya Scindia, forget about accommodating a JDS when they are in power. Look at the BJP when they do not need RLD. to sweep UP, they are still taking him in. When they do not need Apna Dal, they are still taking him. All these smaller factions, the way they are trying to reach out with all these smaller parties. Look at Ham, look at the VIP party in Bihar. Forget about JDS. Even these smaller frinter parties, look at the way they are reaching out. That makes hell of a difference. Karnataka was lowest hanging fruit for the BJP. They did very smartly and they are going to win Karnataka very easily, hands down. Having said that, the 5 seats that you are looking for the Congress, they are largely going to be individualistic seats, particularly in the area where you feel that DK Shivkumar might have to prove these are my seats and see, I have made them one. Rest of the seats are Siddaramaiah and he is a big failure. So kindly make me the chief minister. That sentiment is also going to be play out.
Now, there is one question which is coming in on the Ram Mandir, and I want to take that before we move on to the other southern states. And that question is, I have my doubts about the Maharashtra numbers. I want to know about how sure you're feeling about these numbers, and is there a Ram Mandir bump in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh? This Ram Mandir bump is a very important question, because if I can just step back from the numbers and look at some of the questions. You asked a question, what is the Prime Minister's biggest success and abiding legacy? And Ram Mandir and India's stature in the world were top of that chart. So just talk a little bit about this Ram Mandir bump. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think Ram Mandir bump is going to play out in more ways than one. It's not just about more voters swinging the BJP way. What Ram Mandir has done, Barkha, is that it has energized the rank and file of BJP cadre. Same is with the question of 370 and 400 Paar, what Prime Minister Modi said in the parliament, because these are the kind of targets which enthuses the cadre that, okay, this is the next thing that we have to do. What will happen that the bump is going to come out by the turnout factor. Turnout factor in a way, exactly what we saw in Madhya Pradesh, that BJP managed 9 out of 10 of their supporters to take them to the booth, while the Congress managed only 6 out of 10, and that was a complete organizational and electoral failure in terms of operations. What Ram Mandir has done, Barkha, that without even Modi now campaigning or putting up a rally or anything, he has ensured that at least in the 200 odd seats, Barkha, where it is a Congress versus the BJP, Modi doesn't even have to go to campaign at all. I'm telling you. Just out of that turnout factor, he is likely to have more than 95% strike rate in those seats. However, rest of the 200 more seats, where 250 odd seats, where he is going to contest against the regional parties, he is going to put entire might and use this Ram Mandir campaign thing to see and ensure that the relative turnout of the BJP sympathizer is maximized. That is what's going to happen.
Okay. Now that was very interesting, but I want to speed along in the southern part. Andhra, look at what's happening here. The TDP and the vote share of the TDP and the projection for the TDP is 17. This could have been a problem if it were not for the fact that Chandra Babu is now inching closer to the NDA. Quick take, Yashwant, on Andhra, and then I have to move to Telangana and Kerala. Yeah.
I think it's a routine anti-incumbency thing that is setting in. This doesn't mean that there is anger against the chief minister individually, probably. He remains okay in his performance rating. But what is happening, the problem what Mamta is facing is the same problem that Jagan Mohan Reddy is facing. Huge number of unpopular MLAs, huge number of unpopular MPs, and all those elected representatives at the grassroots level. Now, that kind of triple layering of the anti-incumbency is gonna be very, very tough. Number one. Number two, he has tried to play in the last 5 years as being very close to Modi, nice Modi, because we have seen that Modi is more popular than Rahul in Andhra Pradesh, even though both these parties are out of contest. But asking whom will you pick as the Prime Minister between Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi, it's a 2:1 kind of affair. So that way, 66-33% kind of a split that clearly tells the emotion or the center. That is why both these parties are not taking anti-Modi line. In fact, TDP is going all out. The pro-BJP stand in that way. They may or they may not contest together. That's another thing, because Janasena is part of the NDA, yet Jansena is going ahead with the TDP alliance. And BJP might say, okay, I am contesting everywhere, barring wherever Jansena is putting up the candidate. May or may not. I am not very sure. If they go along, well enough. Even if they do not get along, post-election, and if NDA wins the election and TDP wins the election of Andhra Pradesh, they are more 200% likely to join the NDA this way or that way.
Now, I have to go to the overall picture, but if you have one overall comment on the South, because Telangana, the NDA is making its presence felt in your projection, but Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra, of course, we've already discussed. Kerala and Tamil Nadu are complete like strongholds, as it were, of the opposition.
So Kerala is like a left front is facing now a huge anti-incumbency, and that is helping Congress sweep the state for the Lok Sabha election. Also, the impact of Rahul Gandhi contesting from Wayanad, that has a plus point to it. Tamil Nadu, right now, DMK is sweeping like anything. So the vote share is just about an academic discussion, but actual thing is that he's going to win 39 at this point of time we are going in. However, Telangana is very interesting because of the fact that Congress is right now having a very, very good upper hand in Telangana. Can this or will this force BJP and BRS to come together? Will that happen? That is an interesting phenomena because it's an election season. At the end of the day, there are going to be alliances, patchwork, adjustment. There may not be a direct alliance. There must be a seat adjustment as well. We don't know. So that is something which is going to be played out.
So that's very interesting. I mean, the Congress is convinced that the BRS and the BJP will join hands, and you're also saying let's not overlook that possibility and what it might do to the numbers. Now comes the big moment. Modi has set a target, ab ki baar 400 Paar, and he set a specific target for the BJP, which is 370. Now, your projection looks like this: 335 for the NDA, 166 for the India Alliance, and then there's the 42 others. Of course, you have made this point before that a leader has to set a bigger target than perhaps achievable for his troops to even reach perhaps what you're projecting. Do you want to talk a little bit about the ab ki baar 400 Paar and the numbers that you're actually finding in your survey?
Barkha, that might look like improbable to me, but it is not impossible. It doesn't look like impossible. For a simple reason that I am always a conservative person as far as the seat projections are concerned. So what the screen in terms of vote share to seat share conversion is actually, believe me, a conservative estimate. Having said that, this conservative estimate is one funny thing, observation, Barkha. When I was listening to Prime Minister's speech, ab ki baar 400 Paar, the second line that humko kam se kam 370 milengi, and that kind of stuck to my mind. And I was looking at 14 and 19 figure, and I realized in both the occasions, the NDA alliance numbers were only about 30 seats more than the BJP. So what 400 Paar and 370 has, that Prime Minister is saying NDA alliance will be 400 Paar, BJP will be 370, means what? 30 seats more than the BJP. So this increase of the share, he is not counting in or not expecting in for the alliance partners. This increase in the numbers, he is expecting for the BJP. That's very interesting.
And in many ways, your survey keeps to that pattern, because in your own survey also, there's only a 30-seat difference between the BJP's tally and the NDA overall tally. And the increase, if you can just look at the party-wise, this is the seats, if we can just look at the party-wise percentage of vote share, what the Prime Minister has projected may differ in the number of seats, but it follows the same pattern. Your survey follows the same pattern as his, in a way. Yashwant?
Absolutely, and eventually the turnout, or the relative turnout factor, will be an important factor, because the places where BJP is winning by 50% votes, they might be polling 60%. Where they are polling 45, they might be crossing 50%. But most importantly, in about 25, 30 seats, which are marginal seats, which the BJP lost by a very less margins, they are likely to swing the BJP way. So whatever we call, whenever we call that North is saturated, Barkha, it's not really saturated. When you look into the North Indian numbers, it's not a saturation number. Saturation number is a complete sweep. When we call saturation, okay, Rajasthan saturated, Gujarat saturated, UP is not saturated, MP is not saturated, Chhattisgarh is not saturated, Bihar, Jharkhand, they are not saturated. So what I feel, if this in terms of campaign and everything goes in the line where they go for a saturation performance, in that case, obviously this number, these tallies will go up, can go up, will go up as and when Prime Minister starts campaigning and then when the turnout really happens. So that is likely to happen. Then the battleground states, the two big, huge states of Maharashtra and West Bengal, they account for almost like 50 seats, which the BJP is not leading at this point of time. They account for the huge number where BJP is going to put its entire might in terms of campaign, resources, turnout, and everything that is possible. So it's not impossible. That's what I'm trying to say. Looks improbable
but I
at
have a
this point.
question. Okay, so the 400 Paar is not impossible. It looks improbable. But can I ask you a question? If you look at the Congress, from 52 to about 71 at the moment is what it looks like. The BJP, pretty much the same, up one, which means the Congress is gaining, if these numbers hold, at the cost of non-BJP parties.
That is true.
Which calls into
Exactly.
question the logic of the India alliance.
Exactly. That's the contradiction. That's the problem of the India alliance, that they and the Congress at this point of time are sharing the same vote bank. And no regional parties worth its salt wants the Congress to recover, because they know if the Congress recover, it will be at their expense. So look at where Congress is gaining. They are gaining largely in the states of Telangana, they are largely in the Karnataka and Bengal and southern states of Kerala and in case of Tamil Nadu. So all these gains are basically south of Vindhyas, and that gain is also coming at the expense of regional parties alone. So that's a contradiction of sorts, inherent contradiction, and that is why it is not working out.
Yeah, exactly. And briefly looking at brand Rahul, in your survey, 33% says the same before and after. And the second leg of the yatra has really managed to annoy the allies. But to go back to this point, the point that you're making is most of the people you surveyed said no, India bloc cannot defeat the BJP. And the Congress's own slight gain is not from the BJP. It's actually from the other regional parties. So that is something that is, I think, it really speaks to, in a sense, the logic of the India alliance. If the Congress is cannibalizing the non-BJP parties, then the non-BJP parties are not going to really have much faith in the India alliance project, and we're already beginning to see that. Yashwant, briefly, because I want to end with which issues will help and hurt the BJP in 2024.
Yeah, very briefly, that this contradiction could have been overcome by magnanimity and large-heartedness of the Congress to accommodate the others and show that, okay, we are willing to scale down. We are willing to step down and understand we are weak, where the areas we are weak and where we are strong, we are willing to accommodate you. So after wearing Karnataka, Congress did not give a signal of accommodating JDS. So why should JDS come to you? Congress did not give any of those things, to any of these parties whenever they came to power. And that is in contrast with the BJP, where BJP is accommodating even the smallest possible allies, even though they do not need them. So that is a very big contrast, very big contrast.
Okay, we have literally 2 minutes left with you. So I want to end with the issues. The most important issue remains economic, price rise and unemployment, poverty at 8%, and unemployment and price rise tying. On the positive side, we've already discussed it's the Ram Mandir, it's India's place in the world, it's Article 370. But look at this, which issue will help? economic guarantees. Can you explain this? Economic guarantees helping the BJP
Well,
above
it's a
Ram
hope.
Mandir,
It's
above
the
uniform
expectation.
civil code.
It's
Yes.
it's a hope. It's a hope and optimism. You know, the thing is that in our daily tracker, Barkha, we have been reporting the price rise being an issue, the unemployment being an issue. But immediately after asking that question, we do ask this question: who do you think can provide a solution to this? And invariably, on each and every count, each and every issue, there are 1:2 ratio of people naming Rahul Gandhi, Congress, or the opposition vis-a-vis Modi and BJP as the solution provider. I think this election, Barkha, is all about trustworthiness of brand Modi. Not without a reason, but that he is kind of echoing every now and then, ye Modi ki guarantee hai. It's about what Prime Minister says, and it's about how much people trust him at large. That is something very interesting because I don't think in the recent electoral history, I think we have seen that after 10 years of being in government, there is no anti-incumbency and there is a trustworthiness of sort with the higher
Yeah.
trustworthiness of the president at the top. That is
So in a way,
absolutely incredible.
yeah. So in a way, what you're saying is it's not that people don't identify things that are going wrong, and top of those things going wrong, or that they're disappointed with this price rise and unemployment, but they're still counting on Modi being best suited to provide the solutions to that. Now, finally, Yashwant, before we let you go, and your network's also bunching up a bit, who is best suited to succeed Modi? This is very interesting. Amit Shah actually ahead of Yogi Adityanath, and the only other minister with nearly 16% is Nitin Gadkari. If you just have a last thought on this, do go ahead.
Well, certainly the Hindutva factor at work, no doubt about that. But who after Modi has a multiple dimension payout because RSS will have a say in that, cadre will have a say in that, Mr. Modi will have a say in that as well. However, certainly there is a big push on Hindutva right now. As we know, Yogi Adityanath shared the stage in the Pran Pratishtha ceremony. Amit Shah wasn't even there. Everybody was asked to remain away at that point of time. And there is a push to Adityanath because of the ongoing pro-Hindutva way right now. Amit Shah has played out on the cadre side. He was the party president. He is looked down upon as a Chanakya who knows the thing. He needs to take his popularity a bit higher notch via his ministry's performance, it seems. Right now, where there was another question, has the agencies, have they been being misused of sorts? There is sentiment of negativity as far as the uses of the agencies are concerned. And somehow that is landing at the doorstep of Amit Shah as well. You know, there
Right.
is a connection to that in that way because he heads that ministry. So I guess
Yeah.
that BJP has plenty of the popular names out there, and the same thing, the options. What about Modi or after Modi? Option is still at strongly in perception among the masses. But what after the Gandhi? Who after Gandhi? That thing in a position rank 5. That remains a huge void and a question mark.
Huge void. And very briefly, because it's already past the time that you gave to us, the central issue of this election, right? Hindutva, welfareism, nationalism, or is it, as you said, brand Modi, brand Modi, brand Modi? What is the central issue?
I think this is all this and brand Modi. Brand Modi trumps it all because they feel like 370 delivered by Modi, by Modi, common civil code will be delivered by Modi, and above all these ideological lines, all the welfare schemes, Modi takes the credit, gets the credit of them, and if they are feeling the heat of economic stress, if there is a stress indicator, 70% of the household saying they are finding it difficult to run the rasoi, in that way, even in that despair, the hope for solution lies in brand Modi for them. So that hope is there, that optimism is there, and that optimism is converting into the punchline of Narendra Modi saying हम 2047 का भारत बता रहे हैं और ये मोदी की गारंटी है. I think he has stacked that up pretty well, and he is gonna likely to win that mandate purely on his performance and also the optimism that he is giving the hopes to millions and millions of the Indians at the bottom of the pyramid who see that right now it's not that good, but we hope that it will be good.
That's very important, that while the voter is not blind, is not blinded by emotive identity issues to Rosmarra ka issues of unemployment and price rise. Instead of that creating an anti-incumbency, they're still looking towards the Prime Minister to make those things better for them. Thank you, Yashwant. Just the overall picture, almost the same performance for the BJP, a 19-seat gain possibly for the Congress, but not at the cost of the BJP, at the cost of non-BJP parties. That's the mota takeaway right now. But this survey was done between December and January, and even a day can sometimes be long in Indian politics. So we wait for your next one, Yashwant. Always a pleasure. Take care. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Barkha. Thank you so much.
Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.